Am I the asshole for kicking my friend out of my house even though she has nowhere else to go? My boyfriend 30M and I 28F moved into a fairly large house together last year. When all the COVID things started getting out of hand, we decided to open up our house to one of our friends 30F and my BF's cousin 19F. The friend who moved in with us, Kate fake name, lost her job before the pandemic and 2 months ago with the end of lease she couldn't afford a place to live. My boyfriend and I have a common friend group that we knew since the college days, around 7 years. Kate joined this group 2 years ago. When our friends informed us of her losing her house, we decided, hey, we have free space, come stay with us for a while until you can find a permanent solution. We also covered the food expenses while she helped with the chores. She accepted and moved in within a few days. When she first moved in she was acting friendly with me, but as time progressed she started becoming colder and colder towards me but was still friendly with my BF. A month ago she started acting weird. While we were watching Netflix she started sitting in between my boyfriend and me, touching or hitting his arm lightly when she was laughing, touching my BF's neck or hair while saying good morning to his ear or trying to massage him constantly. I didn't know what to do, especially because my boyfriend was not saying anything at the time and I didn't want to be the crazy GF. However, he sat me down a week or so ago and told me he was extremely uncomfortable by the way Kate was behaving. Let me tell you, I was so relieved that I was not the only one who was thinking she was acting strange lol. He said when I am not around her behavior only increases and he didn't know what to do because he was scared of telling me this as he thought maybe he was overthinking it. We decided to speak to her if she did it again and went to bed happy. 2 days ago I drove to my parents' house to visit them and help with their needs as they don't go out. I got a text 2 hours into my visit from my boyfriend asking me to come back home urgently. When I returned everyone in the house was yelling and I was very confused lol. When my boyfriend saw me he said that he wanted to talk to Kate about what she has been doing was making him uncomfortable and apparently she didn't take this well because she said she did this with everyone and when I took my BF's side more yelling and calling names happened. We told her to get her things and get out. I thought our friends would take our side when we told them about this, but now the whole group is divided. Most of them said yes, she was wrong if she was making us uncomfortable, but that she is just a touchy person. And we were assholes for kicking her out in a pandemic when she had nowhere else to go to. I trust my boyfriend very much as he has been nothing but an honest partner for the past 5 years. He said he decided to talk to her because she kept caressing his arm and touching his thigh and he hated it. So I wanted to ask, am I the asshole for kicking her out? Not the asshole. If it was a male friend touching your inner thighs and giving you unwanted massages, people would be disgusted. Why is there a double standard for men?
Not the asshole. She is sensitive, is code for, she rocks the boat and everyone else needs to work extra hard to steady it. Don't steady the boat. If they think you are jerks, tell them they can take her in. You deserve to not feel uncomfortable in your own home. Beyond that, a core tenet of consent is that the behavior is unwelcome. When told explicitly, the offender needs to back the fuck off, not claim they did nothing wrong. That is how nice guys behave, and apparently Kate does too.
Not the asshole saying she is like this with everyone sounds like BS, she doesn't do it to you. She was being flirty and making advances on your BF. I looks like she has a crush and no respect for boundaries or consent, and it was only going to be a matter of time before she tried to take advantage of him. Innocent people are usually apologetic, guilty people throw tantrums and claim to be the victim.
Not the asshole. A good friend and gracious guest, roommate respects boundaries. She was clearly trying to get between you and your BF. Literally. Who sits between spouses or people in relationships? She had a place to stay, rent-free, and she couldn't be respectful. You tried to talk. She freaked out and offered excuses for her behavior. If your friends disagree with you kicking her out, perhaps they could offer her a couch?
Not the asshole. You're letting her live in your home for free and she decided to go all home wrecker on you. She wasn't respectful of your relationship. It doesn't matter if you're a touchy person. When someone says, stop, that makes me uncomfortable, it needs to stop, no questions asked.
Wait.
So a guest in your house kept sexually harassing your partner and now your friends are saying you're an ass for then removing that person from his safe space, as last resort to protect him from harassment. How fucked up are you friends? Definitely not the asshole.
Not the asshole. A touchy person is touchy with everyone, men, women, children. And it's never sexual, it's just friendly, if that makes sense. And you can tell the difference. One gives you the creeps, the other makes you feel, well, like friends. I'm explaining it badly, but I hope you know what I mean. That girl wants your guy, and is flaunting it right in your face because she thought you're too nice to do anything about it. That's pretty crappy considering you did so much for her. You were absolutely right to throw her out.
She really tried to usurp you and it blew up in her face. Don't be surprised if your other mutuals are getting a skewed version of events in which she is the innocent houseguest caught in the middle of a jealous lover's quarrel.
Not the asshole. You don't need to live with someone who makes you uncomfortable. No other explanation is needed. Not the asshole. She's crossing boundaries she definitely shouldn't. Sounds like some homewrecker nonsense more than anything.
Not the asshole. I had one of those just touchy friends. She tried that with my husband. Luckily he's as good of a man as your boyfriend. It later turned out that the touchy friend thought she was the hottest girl on earth and didn't see the problem with trying to get my husband to sleep with her. She was doing me a favor because she could have taught him a lot in bed. Fuck those people who think they are the greatest and that don't need to respect boundaries. It's fucking rude to you and your boyfriend. Double so since you took her in. I had a lifelong friend, roommate who would suddenly go from confident woman to helpless damsel whenever my boyfriend came over. She also would change into provocative clothing if she knew he was visiting. I wrote it off as her insecurity. Also, her feet were so big boyfriend used to put on her shoes and click-clack around when she wasn't home.
Not the asshole. I would not be friends with her again. She really tried to take your partner after you graciously allowed her into your home for free. The audacity of some people astounds me. Those friends of hers that don't see a problem with her behavior are the same trash as her and she can live with home. Do not allow her in your home and lives. You did nothing wrong. Not the asshole. Touchy-feely people don't get mad when told they are making someone uncomfortable. They might say they do that with everyone, but will apologize and try not to cross your line again. Also, I have never known a touchy-feely person to touch someone's thigh. That's straight up sexual. Not the asshole, but depending on your location it was likely illegal to kick her out without the appropriate 30-day notice which protects even non-paying persons.
Not the asshole. Your friend is a major asshole and has issues. Everyone who defended her is also fucked up. Touching someone like that repeatedly when they don't like it is harassment. Her being a girl and doing it to everyone doesn't make it any better. You did the right thing and you shouldn't feel a single ounce of guilt.
Not the asshole. Yal trying to talk to her about it leading to a screaming match tells me that it was not just her being a touchy-feely person, or she likely wouldn't have been so defensive. She would have responded more reasonably like, "Oh, I didn't know it was making you so uncomfortable. I'll stop," like most people would have if they didn't mean anything by it. Yal invited her into your home and she crossed boundaries, so you're not the asshole for making her move when she made it clear she probably wouldn't stop as she didn't think it was wrong.
Not the asshole, and don't be worried about your boyfriend being trustworthy or not. He has been faithful and honest for 5 years and he has told you honestly what happened.
Not the asshole. She's not your friend. No means no. Being a touchy person is no excuse. If the roles were reversed and he was doing that to Kate, would everyone still feel the same? Not the asshole. Imagine she was a guy and he was doing it to you, then I'm sure all your friends would be on your side.
Not the asshole. She overstayed her welcome. She's out. All other details about her situation, has no money, nowhere to go, blah blah blah, are irrelevant. You were right to kick her out. Who are all these friends who encourage these dramas? Toxic. Anyone who complains is welcome to take her burden on themselves, but it's not their place to lay moral judgment on your very rational, and frankly overdue, decision to begin with. If they want to invite an interloper into their home, that's their problem, not yours. Frankly, I would consider this experience a life lesson and gladly cut out her and the friends who feel sorry for her.
Not the asshole. Who cares if this is what she's like with everyone, it makes him uncomfortable. If it was the opposite, if your boyfriend was just a touchy person and was touching her and she didn't like it, wouldn't that be creepy?
Here's the thing, if she was just being touchy, she would have been doing these things to you too. She was acting cold towards you and being touchy only to him. That indicates to me it was not normal. She wants him. You're right to kick her out. She was disrespecting both of you in your relationship. Not the asshole.
If they're so upset, then they can take her in and let her touch up their partners instead. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. You don't get to touch people just because you like to touch people. You definitely don't get to touch other people's partners. Your friend is way out of line, and your friends have some issues of their own if they don't see the problem here.
No, you were kind enough to open your home to her and she continued to disrespect the both of you. That's on her. You don't just move in with people and expect them to let that continue.
Not the asshole. If someone's uncomfortable, you stop and move on. Info: she claims she's just a touchy person. Has she ever been this touchy with you? Not the asshole. Here's how consent works. Do not force the tea down the person's throat if they've already declined the tea. Your friend group needs a refresher on consent. Your boyfriend said, "No thank you," and they all collectively responded with, "But it's her thing to force tea down people's throats. How very dare you decline it. NUHR. Game over. Get yourself a new friend group. Props to your boyfriend for speaking to you about it. Wishing you light and positivity and a host of new, better friends."
Not the asshole. Even if she is a touchy-feely person, if someone is uncomfortable, you stop.
She's selectively touchy. She sounds like a pervert, to be frank. Not the asshole.
Did your boyfriend ever say something like, "Please don't touch me," or, "Sorry, I don't really like being touched," to her?
Not the asshole, and your friends apparently support sexual harassment. Might be time to find real friends. Skeptical smiley face.
Absolutely not the asshole. She was being way too touchy-feely. She clearly liked him, and the way she began to be cold towards you doesn't make it better. It just emphasizes the point. But even if we gave her the benefit of the doubt and assumed she was just a touchy person, telling when somebody says they're uncomfortable is not the way to go about it. You apologize, say you didn't realize it made them uncomfortable, and promise to stop. Your boyfriend has a right to feel safe in his own home, and if she isn't allowing that, shush is being the problem. No, you're not TBH.
To me this sounds like she was plotting against you specifically. She was trying to take your boyfriend away from you. And somehow some way kick you out or make you leave on your own. So she doesn't have a problem having a place to stay in without going to work or helping out in any way, shape or form. Not the asshole. Dodged a huge bullet with this one.
Not the asshole. What do you mean she has nowhere else to go? Apparently you have a larger group of friends concerned with her well-being. She can stay with one of them.
If you friends are calling you an asshole, they are welcome to take her in. If they refuse, they are absolute hypocrites.
I'm an extremely huggy touchy person. My bestie is not. We've agreed that she has to hug twice a year and I'm good with that. We spoke, we heard and we understood. We love each other. We just have different needs. She now awkwardly pats me on the knee sometimes to show affection. It's really cute. She's so uncomfortable doing it but she wants the connection. I would never just jump up and hug her. It's her body and she gets to decide what she's comfortable with. I don't get people who thinks their need to touch is more important than someone else's need to not be touched. Definitely not the asshole.
Not the asshole. And touchy is usually code word for high maintenance, self-entitled drama queen who has no emotional regulation skills and thinks the whole world should automatically cater to her whims. It's unwise to even be friends with someone like that, let alone let them live in your house. If your other friends don't like it, they should either invite Kate over to strut and fret her hour on their stage instead or STFU.
Not the asshole. Even if she is just a touchy person and was like this with everyone, that doesn't negate from the fact that it was unwanted and made him uncomfortable. You don't get to just step over someone's boundaries because that's just how I am.
Not the asshole. I always think of something Judge Judy said in these situations. If you are somebody's last resort, ask yourself why that person's family, friends etc. before you weren't willing to lend a hand. Send this post to your friend group. Let's see if they'll still defend this sexual harasser. If they don't, then I suggest you cut them off.
Not the asshole. Let her go. Touch, the partners of those alleged friends of yours that are so sympathetic to her mashing on your BF.
Not the asshole. If she's just touchy, I'm a female. A group of mine has a male friend like this. It's not okay, especially during COVID, even when asked to stop. But I digress. Then why is she acting cold towards you? Is he just supposed to be uncomfortable in his own home? Nobody should have to be touched if they don't want to be. If the roles were reversed, this would be a much bigger deal, right? Not the asshole. Unwanted touching is unwanted touching regardless of the genders involved. If she meant it all innocently, she'd have been horrified and mortified and backed off entirely. That she erupted into anger shows it wasn't meant that way. She's the asshole, not you guys.
Is she a grown-up? She knows what she did. Not the asshole.
Not the asshole. Especially with your comment at the end. Her caressing his thigh is creepy as fuck. If your friends are so salty, they can take her in.
Not the asshole. Your boyfriend shouldn't have to be sexually harassed in your home, and you shouldn't have to watch it happen. And if your friends are so concerned about her being kicked out with nowhere to go, they can take her in or pay for a hotel or something. It's not on you. Not the asshole. She claims she does it to everyone, but she did it only to your BF.
Not the asshole. She crossed a line, refused to accept a refusal, so kick her to the curb. I wouldn't waste a moment worrying about her. She should have been grateful for the accommodation and respectful of you and your BF. Your friends can house her if they're so bothered.